Third rank. God is the all-great, greater than all things in power and knowledge. He is all-powerful, all-determining, all-knowing, all-wise, all-fashioning, all-munificent, all-subtle and favoring, all-decorating, all-loving, the one making himself known, all-merciful, all-compassionate, all-pitying, all-beautiful, the one with absolute beauty and perfection, and the eternal designer. The truths of the worlds in whole and in parts, and of creation in whole and in parts, and existence and maintenance all consist in the lines drawn by the pen of his decree and destiny according to a definite ordering, determining knowledge and wisdom, and in the designs made by the compasses of his knowledge and wisdom according to a definite art and fashion. They consist of decorations made by the bright hand of his art, fashioning, decorating, and illustrating with favor and munificence, in the flowers of his favoring, munificence, making known, and loving, with mercy and bountifulness, and in the fruits of the overflowing spring of his mercy, bountifulness, pitying, and affection with grace and perfection. They also consist of the radiations of an everlasting beauty and perpetual perfection, as attested to by the fact that the mirrors reflecting those truths, that is, all creatures, are mortal and the reflections disappear, while manifestations of beauty are permanent and continue to confer bounties despite their recipient's mortality. The mortality of mirrors and the decay of creatures, despite the perpetual manifestation of divine names, attributes, and acts, in utmost abundance, is a clear sign and convincing argument that the manifest beauty and flowering perfection do not belong to those on whom they are manifested. This is a most eloquent explanation and evident proof of the abstract beauty and ever-renewed benevolence of the necessarily extant and the all-loving, permanent one. A perfect work points to a perfect act. A perfect act indicates a perfect name and a perfect agent. A perfect name betokens a perfect attribute. A perfect attribute shows a perfect function or essential capacity. A perfect function or essential capacity demonstrates the perfection of the being through what is befitting for that being, who is the most evident truth. Fourth rank. Exalted is His Majesty. God is the all-great, for He is all-just and the source of justice, the all-judging, all-ruling, and all-wise. He founded the tree of this universe in 6 days by the principles of His will and wisdom, divided it into branches by the prescripts of His decree and destiny, arranged it by the rules of His way of acting, decorated it by the precepts of His favor and mercy, and illuminated it through the manifestations of His names and attributes. His creation's orderliness and balance, His creatures' decorations, the similarity, correct proportions, mutual assistance, and answering among them, and the firm, conscious artistry in all things, destiny has determined for each, according to its capacity, attest to this. There is a comprehensive, all-inclusive wisdom in creation's ordering, a perfect favoring in equipping each thing with necessary parts and organs, as well as making it good-looking and well-proportioned, an all-encompassing mercy in gratifying each creature's needs, an all-inclusive provision in each creature's raising and breathing all these qualities in creation, and the life conferred on each living thing, obeying to make it an exhibition of the Creator's manifestations, and the beauties granted to it for certain purposes show that the Creator is one. Members of a species die, but the species remains. Each feels innate love for its Creator, whom it adores, and an attraction toward Him. Its coming into existence, formation, and life, and the perfect functioning of its bodily parts are amazing. All such qualities in creation also show that the Creator and the Lord is one. Plants and animals are sustained and nursed and produce wisely and for many sublime purposes. There is a perfect and purposeful order in changes occurring on earth, and each thing has amazing, perfect artistry and beauty despite its coming into existence as if all at once. All of this demonstrates that the Creator and Ruler is one. Innumerable living creatures in the universe need provision. Creation is very diverse, and so meeting the needs of each part of creation requires great diversity. No creature can meet its needs, seeing that a single grape costs almost as much as the universe, for the cooperation of all elements, especially the sun, soil, water, and the wine, is required to produce it. It is clear that no creature can fulfill even one of its needs. But the needs of every creature are met just on time from unexpected sources. This universal, precise provision shows that the Creator and Provider is one. Every creature is essentially weak and helpless. It has nothing of its own. Whatever it has in the name of strength and wealth is from the Creator. Its acknowledgement of its weakness and helplessness attracts divine help. Therefore, its strength lies in its weakness, and its power derives from its helplessness. Inanimate matter and substances are equipped and radiated with life and consciences. They undergo numerous changes during their life history. Their neediness, their innate incapacity, is a prayer acceptable by God. All of this shows that the Creator is one, immutable, and answerer of prayers. A conscious, living being draws close to God through its supplications and acts of worship. Sincere, regular worship and supplications enable one to have deep insight and an eye of the heart by which one can penetrate into the meaning of things and events and the divine purposes in creation and unveil some hidden truths in creation and pertaining to divinity. Regular worship, prayer, and remembrance of God give one peace and tranquility and make one a perfect human being, a best pattern of creation. All such qualities of creation and many others unmentioned are witnesses that this universe is managed by a single all-wise one, sustained and raised by a single all-munificent Lord, one besought of all, serves a single master, and is at the disposal of a single ruler. Also, the origin of creation is a single power, the stamps of whose oneness appear on each of its missives, on each of its pages, and as abundantly as the number of those missives and pages. Every flower and fruit, plant and tree, animal and rock, sand particle and stone is a manifest seal demonstrating that the one who placed it is the inscriber of this space, the land and sea, and all their contents. He is the designer of the sun and moon on the page of the heavens. Exalted is the majesty of that designer. He is God, the all-great. Whence the world signs in unison, there is no deity but He. Fifth rank. God is the all-great. He is the Creator, all-powerful, fashioner, and all-seeing. All celestial bodies and pearl-like stars are proofs of His divinity and grandeur, witnesses of His lordship and might. They attest to and proclaim the splendor of His lordship's kingdom, the vastness of His rule and wisdom, and His power's magnificence and greatness. Do they not look at the heaven above them, how we have built it and decorated it? Look at the sky and see the serene silence, purposeful motion, and magnificent glittering, smile with its orderly creation and well-proportioned art. Its lamp shines for the changing of seasons, its lantern radiates for the world's illumination, its stars glitter for the world's decoration. All proclaims the boundless sovereignty in the universe's organization and maintenance. That all-powerful Creator knows all things and has a will so comprehensive that whatever He wills is, and whatever He does not will is not. He is powerful over all things by an absolute, all-encompassing power essential to His divine being. Just as it is inconceivable for the sun to exist without light and heat, it is inconceivable for the God and Creator of the heavens to be without all-encompassing knowledge and absolute power. He knows all things by an all-encompassing knowledge essential to His divine being. Nothing can escape this knowledge by virtue of its relation with all things and its penetrative capability and comprehensiveness. Whatever is observed in creation, orderliness, balance, and harmony, all-inclusive wisdom, perfect favoring, well-established measures, well-arranged dispensation, fruitful decrees, appointed hours, regular provision, and pleasing care given to all things, and perfect, distinguishing measurements, order, and firmness, and the absolute ease thereof, testifies to the all-encompassing knowledge of the knower of the unseen and of all things. The verse, "Should he who creates not know? He is the all-subtle, the all-aware," points out that the existence of something requires knowing it. If the beauty of art in one's work points to one's consciousness to the extent of a small star's brightness on a pitch-dark night, humanity's creation indicates its Creator's knowledge to the extent of the sun's splendor at noon. As He knows all things, His will encompasses all things. Nothing takes place without His will. Power produces the effect, knowledge distinguishes, and will apportions and individualizes. This is how things come into existence. There are as many witnesses of the Almighty's will as there are characteristics, attributes, and states of things. Creating and fashioning each thing with a distinguishing character and attributes purposefully chosen for it out of innumerable alternatives and potentialities, forming each most delicately and with most sensitive measures in an infinitely diverse flux, creating diverse, well-formed living beings from simple, inanimate elements, creating humanity with its senses and all other systems and bodily organs from a sperm and an egg, a bird, and its bodily systems from an egg, a tree with all its parts from a seed, witness that everything is given its individual character and attributes by the Almighty's will and choice. Glory be to Him. The correspondence in bodily structures and basic systems among a species members shows that their maker is one and single. However, the fact that each one is unique demonstrates that that one and single maker does whatever He wills and judges however He wills. Exalted is His majesty. As the all-knowing and all-willing Creator has an all-encompassing knowledge and all-inclusive will, He has a perfect power issuing from and essential to His divine being. That power has no opposite, for that would require the agreement or combination of two opposites, which, by universal assent, is inconceivable. There can be no grades in that power, so in relation to it, everything without exception is equal. This is because the power is not material. The transparency of the immaterial dimension of existence with which it deals, the interrelation among things, the exact balance in creation, the perfect order of existence, and the utmost obedience of existence to it testify to this. The absolute order and harmony in creation, the absolute measuredness and distinctness observed in it, despite the speed and ease of creation and the created's infinite multiplicity, individualization, and diversity, also testify to this fact. The one who has that power can create anything without exception with great ease because He is one and single, and because of the necessity of His existence, and being totally different from the created, He is unrestricted, indivisible, and uncontained by space. Nothing impedes him, rather, whatever seems to be an impediment serves as a means of ease, although he has no need for any help in conducting and executing his commands. He can do so because anything he creates, without exception, has the same quality of art as that seen in everything else. Whoever creates the latter creates the former. The one who creates a seed, which is a small-scale copy of its tree, into which the Creator has included the tree by the principles of his knowledge, must undoubtedly be the creator of the tree. It is not difficult for the power that brings into existence the particulars to create the universals. Just as the copy of the Qur'an of wisdom inscribed in an atom with ether particles has the same quality of beauty and art found in the copy of the Qur'an of grandeur written on the pages of the heavens in the ink of stars and suns, so creating a honeybee and an ant requires no less skill and artistry than creating a date palm. The art contained in a rose is not less than the art contained in a pearl-like star. While the utmost and perfect ease of creating things causes the misguided to confuse creation with self-formation, which requires accepting impossibilities and superstitions that contradict sound reasoning and judgment, it leads people of truth to the certainty that planets and minute particles are the same in relation to the power of the Creator of the universe. Exalted is His majesty, and sublime is His name. There is no deity but He. Sixth rank. God is the all-great, greater than all things in power and knowledge. He is the all-just, all-wise, all-powerful, all-knowing, one, single, and eternal sovereign. All worlds are at the disposal of His hands of order and balance, arranging and measuring, justice and wisdom and knowledge and power. They show His oneness and singleness. Nothing is excluded from His order and balance or His arranging and measuring, which are two chapters of the Manifest Record and the Manifest Book, which in turn are the titles to the knowledge and command of the all-knowing and all-wise, and the power and will of the Almighty and all-compassionate. The order and balance in this book, together with that record, testify that all is at the all-merciful's disposal, the all-pitying's ordering, the all-gracious decorating, and the all-ruling's measuring. In sum, the manifestations of the divine names, the first and the last in creation, refer to beginning and end, origin and issue, past and future, command and knowledge, and point to the manifest record. The manifestations of the names, the outward and the inward, on things connected with God's attribute of creation, point to the manifest book. The universe is like a huge tree, and each world in it is also like a tree. The universe's creation and division into worlds and species may be likened to a tree. A tree has an origin, its seed, and an issue that carries on its task after its death, the seed in its fruit. Its beginning and end manifest the first and the last. Through its composition and the purposes it serves, the original seed is an index or code for the tree's formation. Thus, it manifests the first. The seeds in the tree's fruits manifest the last. Seeds are like miniature chests containing the pen of destinies inscribed, indexed, and code for forming new trees that exactly resemble the original one. A tree's exterior manifests the name, the outward. Through its perfect, well-ordered structure, decoration, and purposes it serves, it is like a perfectly beautiful dress made with perfect wisdom and favor to fit the tree. The tree's interior manifests the name, the inward. Through its perfect, amazing organization and the way it is fed, its interior is like an extraordinary machine or factory working in perfect order and balance. The tree's beginning resembles an amazing quote, its end an extraordinary index, and both point to the manifest record. Its exterior points to the manifest book, just as human memory indicates the supreme preserved tablet. All trees' original seeds and fruits indicate the manifest record, and their exteriors and interiors symbolize the manifest book. Compare with a particular tree, the tree of earth with its part and future, the tree of the universe with its beginning and future, and the tree of a person with his or her ancestors and descendants. 7th rank. God is the all-great, greater than all things in power and knowledge. He is the creator, opener, all-acting, all-knowing, bestower of gifts, distributor of blessings, and eternal Son. Note: using these names to weave the divine acts and imprints behind creatures, one can move to the one called by these names. All words and their contents are shadows of his lights, works of his acts, colors of the embroidery of his name's manifestations, lines of the pen of his destiny and decree, and mirrors manifesting his attributes of beauty, majesty, and perfection. All of this is attested to by the eternal witness, the Almighty Himself, with all His books, pages, or scrolls, by creation's signs of, and the Qur'an's verses, by earth, with its manifestations of absolute riches and wealth despite its essential destitution and need, and by the prophets, saints, and prophets, exacting scholars, with enlightened intellects and illumined hearts, their investigations, spiritual discoveries, and supplications, and the blessings with which they are favored. All of the above with utmost certainty except the testimony of creation's signs, the Qur'an's verses, and the testaments of the heavenly books and pages containing the testimony of the necessarily existent one. All of these witnesses agree that all creatures are works of His power, inscriptions of His destiny, mirrors of His names, and images of His lights. Conclusion: different experienced issues. Know, O friend, that as long as I am alive, I say, as did Mevlana Jalaluddin al-Rumi, may God sanctify him, that I am a servant of the Qur'an. As long as I am alive, I am the soil of the way of Muhammad, the chosen one. The Qur'an is the source of all intellectual and spiritual radiation. Whatever truth is in my books is found in it. Thus, my books contain references to the Qur'an's miraculous nature. I mentioned about 40 of them in the words. Here, I will include only one as a means of blessing for this book. Ponder these questions concerning a speech made or a word uttered. Who said it? To whom was it said? Why was it said? About what was it said? A word derives its strength and beauty from its speaker and its audience, and why and when it was said. Some literary people wrongly believe that the occasion is the word's only source of beauty. However, the wording or words chosen to express a meaning are not the speech's body, they are its dress. The speech's apparent or superficial meaning is not its spirit, but its body. A speech derives life from the speaker's intention and feelings, and so its spirit is the speaker's intended meaning. If the speech or words contain an order or prohibition, they have an authority proportionate to the speaker's power, which adds to their strength and sublimity. There is a great difference between a non-authoritative order issuing from one and a forceful and powerful command from a determined authority. How different is the order? O earth, swallow up your water, and O heaven, withdraw your rain, which issued from the sole sovereign of the universe, from supposedly human orders to lifeless elements. O earth, be still and come to a rest. O heaven, split asunder. And, O world, destroy yourself and be built again for the resurrection. Consider the difference between the command, march, issuing from an obeyed commander to a mighty obedient army, and that of a person whose orders are ignored. See the difference between the narration of the acts by their true doer, an authoritative commander, a maker who makes whatever he wishes, when he says, I have done and I do such, and by one having no direct relation with the acts done. See the difference between real stars and their reflections, which have no real existence. How different are the angels of the words spoken by the Creator of the sun and moon from our words. How different are the Qur'an's words, the mothers of pearls of guidance, belief, principles diffusing from the supreme throne of God, and which constitute the eternal speech, containing knowledge, power, and will from our hollow words. How different is a tree that has divided into parts, grown, blossomed, and borne fruit from any substance obtained from some of its fruits, by changing their form, removing the nucleus of life, and mixing them with another element. The Qur'an is like a tree whose seeds have grown into principles of conduct, and from which Islam's world has been formed. Minds have derived ideas from it, and the exalted truths originating from it have become incontestable principles and branches of knowledge. If you take one truth, change it, remove its nucleus of life, decorate it as you wish, and then make your opinion a criterion by which to judge the Qur'an's verses, you may judge whether it is justifiable to compare the forms given to precious stones according to childish desires with those stones themselves. I have personally experienced and observed that experiencing the Qur'an's beauty requires a sound, purified heart. A heart tainted with spiritual diseases can feel only what its diseases have soiled and muddied. The Qur'an's styles and the human heart are two corresponding mirrors that reflect each other. A subtle point. Belief establishes brotherhood and affinity among all things. Thus, one does not find strong feelings of greed, enmity, hatred, or desolation in believers' hearts. Believers see even the strongest enemy as brothers or sisters in humanity. Unbelief causes separation and alienation, which manifest in unbelievers as strong feelings of greed, enmity, self-preference, and self-reliance. Such feelings help them succeed in this life, for they see their virtues rewarded mostly here and now, whereas believers suffer the consequences of some of their shortcomings and sins. That is why the Prophet declared, "The world is a prison for a believer, but a paradise for an unbeliever." Know, O friend, that if belief enters your heart, you become like a jewel worthy of eternity and paradise. Unbelief, however, reduces you to a valueless, perishable stone devoid of most sublime feelings and virtues. Belief unveils the sound, pleasant kernel or essence within the perishable covering and displays the supposed perishable form as a radiant diamond. Unbelief shows the covering as the kernel, clings to it firmly, and reduces you from resembling a diamond to resembling a piece of glass, ice, or foam. This is what I have observed concerning belief and unbelief.